Hi, and welcome to the final lesson in this module, in which I'll share some insights with you regarding the things we've learnt in this module. First, I'd like to introduce you to a term we haven't used so far in this course: code smell. According to Wikipedia, in computer programming, a code smell is any characteristic in the source code of a program that possibly indicates a deeper problem. That is, a code smell is a symptom for something that wasn't written well in our code. When you encounter a code smell, you should stop and ask yourself, is there a better way to write this code? So let's go through the lessons we've learnt in this module and discover the code smells we've encountered. First, we talked about values that are not assigned to a variable. This is problematic because the meanings of those values are unclear, and so what we should do with them is simply assign them to variables with meaningful names. So, next time you see a value that isn't assigned to a variable, you should ask yourself, will assigning that value to a variable make its meaning clearer? These values are called magic numbers, although, by the way, they are not necessarily numbers, as we discussed. But however, they are called magic because they look arbitrary. Then, in the second lesson, we discussed complex expressions. Complex expressions are hard to understand. We saw we can do two things to make them easier to understand: assign them to variables, or take them apart. This technique is called extract variable. In the third lesson, we saw that unclear names are confusing, and so we learned how to better name variables. Then we talked about comments. We said that they are noise and misleading, and so we should consider writing clearer code rather than relying on them. And finally, we saw that in some cases, it's hard to tell a variable's value, which obviously makes our code harder to understand. This can be fixed by using constants and declaring variables close to where they are used. Now, I want to share with you an important insight about all of those, and about the concepts we'll learn later in this course, and that is that the same things we don't like in code, such as unclear meaning and noise, are the things we don't like in natural language as well. Consider a scenario when you ask someone where we was earlier, and he answers you, I went to the kindergarten. I went to the kindergarten. Wouldn't it be better if he would have just answered, I went to the kindergarten once? That's like comments. We don't want to be told the same thing more than once. Here's another example. Consider the sentence, I like that concept in object-oriented programming that allows one class to inherit the properties and methods of another class. Isn't the sentence, I like inheritance in object-oriented programming clearer? That's like clarifying a complex expression's meaning by giving it a name. You probably can't have a natural language example for each and every code smell or clean code concept out there. But my point is, there aren't any magic tricks in making your code clear. All there is what developers who read your code understand. The easier to understand you make your code, the cleaner and better it is, just like phrasing in English. The concepts we've learnt and those we will learn are based on cognition, on how we understand stuff, not on some arbitrary set of rules, which, by the way, also opens room for debate as to which code is clearer and which is less clear, as we'll see later in this course. And that's all for this lesson. I'll see you in the next module, where we'll talk about functions.
Check out the full course, link in the description below.